So today we got to see a lot of different immersive experiences for ERPNext. Uh, Before going to that, I am going to talk about what has been tried to be implemented in ERPNext and failed, and how we are going to approach differently. What we are doing is we are building a general mobile app for ERPNext for the whole of the ERPNext. So HR, uh, then our stock module, manufacturing, CRM, they all will come inside this mobile app, which is your ERPNext, right? Before going there were two attempts that were done, right? First one was a community attempt where Flutter was used, and there was an attempt to build like the whole mobile app again in Flutter. But that did not work out because ERPNext is so huge, Frappe is so huge, it's not possible to build everything that is there in Frappe framework from scratch. So, this project was canned out by the Frappe team. Then the second approach that was followed was using Cordova. So, Cordova is like a native platform which allows you to host websites. So again, it lacked the integration. If you are implemented a custom mobile app, custom app, it did not work properly, right? And that's the reason why the second approach of using Cordova also did not work out. So this is a different approach that we have come about. We call it as a progressive nativization of the ERPNext core app. The idea behind progressive nativization is that you take the core ERPNext app as a web view and put it inside the React Native app. And in a sequential manner, based on the importance of the features, what you do is you kind of convert those features into a native version of them. So for example, barcode integration is there, that location is there, push notification is there. So what you can do is you can bridge it up with the native integration. So essentially what we have done is we have a React Native web view which allows for the core UI to be seen, and then we have built a bridge over the native app that is on the React Native, which talks with the Frappe. So we essentially expose a API that can be called from any custom application to access native features. So these are the features that we have built, which is barcode, camera, sharing to the custom applications, call, WhatsApp, geolocation, geofencing, and push notification. So this allows you to basically, take your existing app all the way it is and just have the native functionalities that you require. So, this was a very simple and effective approach when any customer of ours came to us and asked for native feature set. So we were able to quickly deliver push notifications, in-app camera view. So this camera view that you are seeing is of React Native. So you can take multiple images and then upload to the Frappe. Similarly, you can have a call button. Clicking on call will open up a call pop-up. Similarly, barcode. We had a QR code integration, but the problem is it's not fast. It's not snappy. So we used native QR code barcode reader, and automatically it detects all the QR code barcode readers that are there in React, in our Frappe application, and converts them to a native one. So just having a simple barcode field in your Frappe will have a native integration with the QR code and barcode, and it works seamlessly. We implemented geofencing so that this data is going to the Frappe, and then Frappe decides. The way we have done that is just, it's a function call from the Frappe. It's an async function call. You just call the native wrapper that we have exposed to Frappe through our custom app called Chatnext, and then you can call all these feature set. So what are the results so far? So we have gone live with this implementation for 2 customers right now. Over 150 users are using this this Chatnext in their implementations. The development amount, the amount of development that we had to do was very minimal after building this Chatnext application. Why? Because essentially we are using the core Frappe UI, etc. And wherever we require, we can always build custom HTML blocks in the workspace or inject a few buttons here and there to give that integration support. This also saves us from headache of building the login, logout, and there are 100 different types of feature set that are supported for authentication in Frappe. If we have to build that again for a mobile app, then it is a nightmare. So this is a very simple, efficient approach to do that. So that was what we have built. Now these are few features that are just going live. So one is a WhatsApp Business API. This allows for a two-way communication through a WhatsApp Business API. So you can essentially allow the user, the users can basically receive messages just like your normal WhatsApp, but this is happening through your brand WhatsApp. And then you can also call this programmatically, and it's a mix of programmatic plus or human interaction that you can facilitate, and this is all getting tracked in the ERP, and you can connect it with the leads, you can connect it with the customer or job applicants, stuff like that. Second, we are releasing is a funnel builder. So you have your WhatsApp, right? So you can basically, trigger certain features on lead creation, and they can be like, you can have send a WhatsApp, then wait for 2 minutes, and then send again. So that is another feature that we are releasing. And these are a few features that we have in pipeline, which is a Llama LLM based copilot for having automated responses to the WhatsApp messages, etc., for faster response, advanced automations, and we plan to make the embedded app that is there, right, more and more native by implementing native app bar, sidebar, and such features. Yeah. So that's it from my side. You can scan the QR code to learn more about this.
Thanks a lot, Chinmay. Coming on stage next is Maharshi Patel from the Frappe team, bringing to us all a brand new print designer.
Hello everyone, I am Maharshi Patel and I am engineer at Frappe. Today I am going to share with you a tale of print formats. Once upon a time, there were 2 ways to design print formats. Print format builders, which were really easy to use and allowed users to create beautiful formats with minimal effort. And on the other side, we had custom formats, which gave more control to the user and empowered them to create more robust print formats. However, like every other software, they had their flaws. For example, print format builders had very limited layout support and didn't allow much styling without knowing CSS. And custom print formats required someone with a knowledge of Frappe framework and Jinja in order to create print formats. Also, customizing afterwards was really hard. These 2 methods have served us well over the years, but now there is a new way to design your formats. Print Designer, which is best of both worlds. It gives you most of the controls that you need without requiring you to write any kind of a code. And it's And now you can just, instead of writing all of this code, you can just use print designer. You can add information with live preview. There are controls that you can use to add text or labels. There will be more controls soon. You can add images by just drawing them. Table is one of the most used element. There are so many controls, such as you can just delete and add new columns as you like. You can drag and drop the fields and resize them, and much more. I have created this stunning format with the use of print designer. If you want to see how I built this, you can visit frappe.io/s/pd or scan the QR code. Print designer is available on version 15 and onwards. You can go to the Frappe Cloud Marketplace. Why should we limit ourselves to just traditional formats? We as a community can find creative ways to use this tool. For example, whenever someone needs a visiting card, we have to ask Nishant, our in-house designer, to create it for us, which is very time consuming. So let's use print designer to solve this problem. So we'll try to make it fast. First we'll open the print designer. Then we'll just give it a name, visiting cards. Change the page size to custom and give it a width and height as per our visiting card. We'll use our barcode tool where we can just select any of the field that we want and a dynamic QR code is generated. Now anyone can just scan this and email your employee. We can add employee name and designation. Next, we'll just select the tool and increase the font size of the name and make it bold. There are so many controls that you can use to style each and every element of the print designer. Right now I am using color tool to change the color of designation. Now I'll just add mobile and email. Change the size. Next, we'll just add a static text where we'll just add an address. After aligning them, this looks pretty nice. So let's add a cherry on top. We'll add a Frappe logo. With image tool, we'll just select Frappe. And this is it. We are done. So let's say that a new employee is are added. So we'll just select those, click on the action and click print. Now we'll select our print format, visiting cards, and click on print. And just like that, now we have 3 of our employees visiting cards. Needless to say, like every other Frappe app, it's 100% open source, easy to configure, flexible and everything. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Maharshi. Now we have Robert from the States who is going to talk about US healthcare.
My name is Robert Bender, and I came here to India for the first time just for this conference. So I just want to say that because how committed I am to Frappe and ERPNext. Thank you. So yeah, it's the first time out of North America actually. And one of the reasons I came here was because of Michael. He kind of introduced me to the community and brought me out here. And I'd like to talk to everybody about a little bit about what we're doing with U.S. healthcare and kind of building on top of the Frappe framework. So really quickly, a little background about myself. I'm a NetSuite developer, consultant, and architect. I run a NetSuite consulting company called Swift ERP. I've been doing that for a little over a decade right now. Found out about Frappe and ERPNext about a year ago and really was blown away, very impressed by the framework, and have been using it to build out the platform for enabled healthcare. The company where I'm the CTO at, and my wife, who's a physician, a cardiologist, is the CEO. And a little bit about what enabled healthcare is it's a platform for doctors, caregivers, patients, and family members. And what we're doing is we're giving patients, primarily older folks, with heart failure, conditions like that, and we're giving them cellular-enabled vital monitoring devices, so blood pressure cuffs, weight scales, things like that, and feeding that data into the Frappe framework. And we're combining that with integrations into other EHR systems. So what we're doing is we're creating a centralized platform for these caregivers and folks that may not have access to this EHR patient data. And doing this in the United States, we're very mindful of HIPAA compliance. There's a lot of kind of security features, and it's made the Frappe framework very attractive to how open source it is, how it can be made secure, and everything like that. So that's a little what we're doing, and we're building a lot of stuff into it. There's a mention of the AI possibilities in here. We're kind of using some of the large language models and fine-tuning that based on kind of some quality medical data and taking into account patient data as well to really help the caregivers have meaningful information for these patients. And a really quick story is there's a patient that was complaining to a caregiver about having jaw pain, and the caregiver was, saying, "Oh, just relax," and everything. But had they had access to this language model, they would have known that jaw pain is a symptom of, a heart attack, and the patient actually was experiencing a heart attack. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to help folks and keep them out of the hospital with some of this great technology and kind of taking into account their vitals history and kind of medical history and doctor notes can really help a lot of people. So right now I'm the only developer for Enabled Health. It's me and ChatGPT. We're kind of building this platform. So I'm also looking for any other developers out there that want to help us, especially women developers that are interested in keeping people out of the hospital and kind of doing everything that we can to enable the health for all sorts of folks across the country and hopefully around the world soon. So that's my talk. Thank you, everyone.
The Commit company is back on stage again, this time with a developer tooling application for the Frappe ecosystem. Let us all welcome Nikhil Kothari.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nikhil Kothari from the Commit company. We build, a few libraries that you might have heard of. My colleagues today presented, Raven. So last year at ERPNext conference 2022, I had presented Frappe JS SDK, React SDK, and Frappe types, right? Some of you are already using these. We've added, new features to these, right? But if you think about developer tooling, it goes beyond, just libraries, right? For example, the form builder, that's developer tooling, the new feature that's in Frappe v15. There's something missing, right? When you talk about developer tooling across, different tech stacks, right? They can usually answer things like, how does my database schema look? Like in Frappe, if you connect your MariaDB database to, any ERD software, right? You're just going to get the table structure, but you're not going to get any relationship between them because that's all stored in the meta, right? How many APIs do we have in our app? I mean, can someone really tell me how many APIs do we have in ERPNext? What if you're building, something on top of ERPNext, and let's say you wanted to fetch accounting dimensions, right? It's not documented anywhere. You have to go into the ERPNext code base to figure out, oh, hey, there's an API that's, that's used everywhere to get accounting dimensions. So, and then finally, what if code reviews didn't involve parsing JSONs mentally? I mean, this is what a typical code review looks like for a Frappe developer, right? You have a huge JSON, and then you're trying to figure out which fields were added, which fields were removed, and it's kind of a mess. For context, this is a PR that I had created about last year maybe, and I had accidentally formatted the entire settings, system settings JSON page, and then Ankush had to tell me that, I need to get rid of that because he can't review it. So, it sounds great, right? If we had, a tool like that, right? Steve Ballmer going all developers, developers, developers. But the thing is that this tool, right, would also help product managers. It would also help, someone, trying to figure out how ERPNext or any other Frappe app for that matter works without actually having to, view technical documentation which may or may not exist. So that's why we created Commit. Commit is essentially developer tooling for the Frappeverse. So you can go to commit.frappe.cloud and just click on try commit. You'll see that we have already loaded all of the popular Frappe apps and Raven as well as India compliance by Resilient Tech. We can add more to these, right? So these are all the list of Frappe apps that we have. And so let's say if I want to view the database schema for Raven, right? I select the branch, I click on view ERD, and it gives me all the lists of all the doc types within modules. And then I can select all the doc types, and yeah, this video is slow, yeah. And then it will generate the ERD for me. You can play around with this ERD, right? You can add more doc types, and this is something that a product manager would love. Basically, if they already know what the doc types are, you're not going within form, within form, within form, within form to actually figure out what is linked to what. And then you can see all the fields. If you wanted to filter by field type, if you wanted to view all the details of a field, all of this is available. This is also available on Frappe, so I don't really care about these features. But the main thing was the ERD over here, right? So yeah, that's the ERD. Next, this is something more complex. Purchase order form. This is, I don't know, 150 fields maybe, right? So yeah, even the ERD is a bit complex. Next, we go to the API Explorer, right? To answer the question, how many APIs do we have? I'll again pick Raven, right? So if you go to API Explorer, it will list all the APIs that are there. You can filter by the request type, whether it's a GET request or a POST request. You can search for an API, and it will actually get you the details. So you can get the endpoint. You can copy it. There's a copy button there. You can get all the parameters. If you're using typings in Python, right, you'll also get the type as well as the default value over here. And then it also pulls up the code file from where it got this API. However, we really want to actually just show the function block. We are working on that. So yeah, this is the API Explorer. And yeah, so features that we plan to build, right? We plan to build, GitHub integration. Every time a pull request is created, a comment gets added that says, hey, this guy has changed, these many fields. These are the exact changes. View them in commit. Automatic API doc generation, right? I don't want to say AI, but AI, right? Exporting these ERDs. Maybe your client wants an ERD diagram, right? Maybe they're like, yeah, I know it's open source, but I still want a database diagram to hand it over to my next engineering team. You can do that. Exporting APIs to Postman or Hopscotch or Bruno or whatever API client you find useful. Detecting unused APIs. So this actually was born because in Raven we had like 19 APIs and I wanted to clean it up. So the first thing that I had to do, and every developer would understand this, is go to VS Code and search for @frappe.whitelist, right? And so it makes it very difficult. This is actually something that can improve your security because there might be APIs that are deprecated that you haven't removed from the backend, but they're still there. And obviously support for custom fields. This is something that ERPNext implementers would do if you're building a custom app and you have added custom fields on ERPNext or HRMS or anywhere, right? You should be able to view those in ERD. So these are the features that we plan to build, right? We have a survey form on our website. Yeah, it's 100% open source, and this will be open source and free for, this will be free for all other open source Frappe apps, right? I mean, it's open source, so technically it's free anyway. So yeah. So you can try it yourself at commit.frappe.cloud. The source code is available. Don't ask for documentation. Seriously, don't ask for documentation. Yeah, and there's a survey form. Maybe fill it up. We just want to understand whether there's a product. I mean, is this a product or is this something that we just maintain on the side, right? So yeah, thanks.
We have invited Abhishek for the next talk.
On. Oh yeah. So hello everyone. This is Abhishek. Yeah. So how many of you know Python? At least I've heard. I should see all the hand raised up because Frappe itself is built on Python. So I hope everyone is aware of that. Just like Frappeverse, PyCon India is one of the conference organized and run by all the volunteers who are interested in what is going on around Python community and what they have built. So it's kind of like a celebration for us in terms of annually we do this conference, and this is the 14th edition this year we are doing. So if you're interested what is going around Python in Indian community, and as well as if you want to discuss or see what kind of projects people have done and what is going on with the community itself, then this is a conference you should attend. And this is happening, it's a 4-day event. The first day is a workshop. Tickets are still available. You can check this out. And next 2 days, that is 30th of September and 1st of October is the conference day itself, right? And then the last is the dev sprint. It's a program where if you maintain any project, so for example, Arya Technology created a really amazing project on the integration of ICICI Bank and other payment integration with ERPNext, right? If you maintain any such project which is written in Python, and if you want more people to contribute to your project, then definitely participate in that. The proposals are open for a dev sprint, and we also do a few more sessions called Bird of Feathers and Poster Presentation, where in Bird of Feathers, it's not like going to be like a talk as such, but it's like a more of an open space where you want to talk about or share about any projects that you have built. And if you want to discuss a particular idea about it, you can submit a talk around that. And poster presentation is more like a visual representation of what project you have built and if you want to talk about it. So it's more like, again, open space, but with posters. So you can check this out. And in fact, I would encourage people who are maintaining the projects for Frappe, do submit your proposals for the contribution to dev sprint, because that will bring more users or in fact contributors to your project. So please do check this out. Thank you. And I actually forgot, Rishabh is going to do keynote in PyCon India as well, so I think you should not miss about that, at how he has actually come up with the idea and build Frappe. And if you have more questions around it, definitely you should talk to him, and I would encourage you to participate in terms of if you want to get more knowledge or insights on building a framework and whatever the design principles, these people have used. So thank you.
Thanks, Abhishek. Now, up on stage next is Vishal Arya from FOSS United, who will be talking about IndiaFOSS's 3rd edition.
So, meanwhile, we are setting up the system. How many of you are aware of FOSS United? Oh, lots of hands. So, half of my problem is solved. So, how many of you are aware of ERPNext Open Source Foundation? Yeah, so ERPNext, FOSS United was rebranded at FOSS United in 2020 with the broad goals from which ERPNext Foundation started. So at FOSS United, we aim to see more projects like Frappe, open source projects, being created in India, and to celebrate and promote more FOSS, we are organizing the 3rd edition of IndiaFOSS conference in Bengaluru next month. Have you, and any of you have been to IndiaFOSS last edition? Nice, few hands. So the 3rd edition is happening next month, and so a few pictures from last 2 editions. So the agenda, like a lot of you are using Frappe or products around Frappe. If you are building and want to showcase there at that stage, we are inviting you to come and propose talks. So we have one of the agenda is FOSS product showcase. So the Raven, a lot of projects were showcased there. Similar to PyCon India, we are not specific to one technology, but all open source technologies out there. So we talk about sustaining FOSS, how we can create an ecosystem where we create more open source projects. Public policy, we deep dive into the issues with open source, FOSS for social initiatives, NGOs, academia, and if you want to interact with larger open source community. So Frappe is an open source project, and you want maybe to hire people or meet more people who use, for example, for the people who are into business, who use Frappe to, as a service, to give service, you might be using other open source tool or proprietary tool, and you want to know more about softwares like Frappe and alternative to other software that you use, you could come and interact with more people. So if you fall into any of the category, you are a researcher, software developers, or even business people, we see, do join us, and you'll see people from all these background. So this year we are anticipating 1,000+ people. We have already booked 450 tickets, and we are having 60 sessions, 2 tracks in parallel. So you can join us either by speaking at the conference, you can sponsor, you can be a partner if you are a tech group. We also have a unconference model there. You can propose a workshop if you are a software developer and working on any projects and want to run a workshop, showcase to a few developers with hands-on, do propose a talk. You can scan this QR code to learn more about it, or you can just head over to IndiaFOSS.net/2023. Thank you.
Sorry for keeping you all waiting. So I am here today to give you some updates about the India compliance application that we released last year. So I am Smit Vora from Resilient Tech, and I am chartered accountant, but self-taught developer by passion, and I love coding so it really helps me a lot, the chartered accountancy insights, to help build this product much better. So what has been our focus so far? Our focus has been, to make this product more stable, to make sure that there are no bugs, to make sure that it's very user-friendly, and so on. So this has been the progress for last 1 year. We take bug reports very seriously, and the 50 bugs that we resolved are just the reported ones on GitHub, but there are a lot more. You can vouch that from pull requests, and so I'll quickly share a few updates that we rolled out, but maybe we missed on posting it to you. So starting with the reporting side, reporting is very important when it comes to compliance solutions, and we try to make sure that we give very comprehensive reports. For example, we recently introduced multi-GST report, where the report for GST balances for all GST accounts could be viewed in one place. So this gives a very good bird's eye view. Then there are certain critical things like, e-way bills were not generated or e-invoices were not generated. So we added them to dashboard so that you have an eye on this, and whenever it's applicable, it will just say if it's not generated. So the next thing is about the GSTN status that we added a validation very recently. We observed that many businesses were, facing problems as to, while filing returns, they used to realize that certain GST numbers were cancelled or invalid, and they had to redo a lot of things. So we added a very simple feature over here, where while creating any transaction, when you choose a customer, it will make a live API call to make sure that the GST number is valid, and it will show the status to you and also show when it was last updated. So this is configurable, and you can set this to probably like how many days you want to refresh the status after. So the next thing is about the e-way bill and e-invoice enhancements that we had made. This is more about, e-way bill. We introduced e-way bill for purchases. We introduced ability to extend e-way bill if it's expiring very soon, and much more around here. Introduced bulk transaction processing, and etc. So we'll soon share a link with documentation for the same. Coming to the reconciliation tool, the most awaited one. This has been released very recently in version 15, and we expect to release this in version 14 as well within a week or so. So I'll give you a sneak peek into how this actually works. So we are taking care of the complete process from start to end so that it's very easy for you. So what really happens is that first you can go to the reconciliation tool. You can download the data of GSTR 2A to B. From here, it will show you the options here as to, so it will ask for OTP as well to authenticate the user from the government portal. It will download the data for you. It will make the comparable report for you. Once it is downloaded, it will show you that it's downloaded. And this is the match summary which you get as to how many exact matches or what are the status of each match. You can quickly take bulk actions from here to accept the values where you did not find any discrepancies, and it will be updated immediately. Then you have a supplier view and a detailed view, that's the document view, where you can inspect further. So now I am filtering on places where the action is not taken, and I can inspect individual documents. I can filter more on the tax differences and much more like that. Okay, so these invoices were missing in my purchase invoice. I can quickly create the purchase invoice from here directly, and it will autofill the necessary information already available. And if there are discrepancies, definitely you would like to show them, disclose them to your suppliers. So this is the Excel report that's downloaded, where invoice level details come up, and you'll see the highlighted differences here, which come in red. You can share this report directly via email to your supplier by attaching it in the email dialog, which is there. So this was about the feature that's developed so far. And what is the way forward for India compliance application? So it's like about we are planning to introduce the GSTR1 tool, the GSTR3B tool, and lastly, we are also partnering with Frappe to come up with the Frappe school to come up with a course so that it's very easy for everyone to learn and understand the course. Thank you so much.